Whoa.
And you gushers too. Oh my God.
A student at Kent State University caught on camera yelling at Turning Point USA members and vandalizing their campus booth. Let's bring in campus reform reporter Emily Sturge and chair of the Moms for Liberty chapter in Bergen County, New Jersey, and Alexandra Bauer. Welcome to both of you. So, Emily, what's your reaction to the vandalism and the foul language we saw in that video?
Vile and disgusting behavior, but I'm not shocked. Universities have created this toxic culture of violence, and as a reporter at the Leadership Institute's Campus Reform, I've covered this closely. After Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I reported that there was a UPenn professor that called Charlie Kirk the head of Trump's Hitler Youth. I reported that there was an Ohio State University Medical Center respiratory therapist who ironically called Charlie Kirk a waste of oxygen. After Thomas Matthew Crooks failed to assassinate our president, there was a Morgan State University professor who said that she was sad that he missed his shot. So when you look at the rhetoric that university professors are using in the classroom, it makes sense that student behavior is downstream from what they're seeing from their professors. So the solution here, well, universities need to hold both students and professors accountable and get back to reforming hiring practices. Hire the best and the brightest professors to set better examples for our students.
Kent State saying today, quote, the individual from this incident has been identified and criminally charged with criminal mischief and disorderly conduct, both misdemeanors. Alexandra, what's your take on it?
Well, I'm glad that this person is going to be held accountable, but sometimes it's a little bit too late. Again, they've been allowing this to go on for such a long time where free speech is allowed for one side and not the other, where conservatives are afraid to be who they are. They can't even have a beautiful table, just minding their own business, being happy, talking to other students about, maybe making them feel good. And, hey, we think this way, too, and let's be friends and things like that. Very simple things that should be happening in schools, and that's not even allowed to happen because you have this woman who, these kids had to have been very frightened. She pulled scissors out of her, pants pocket and just started swiping at balloons. I'm sure they were worried for themselves and their lives, and that's not right. We send our kids to schools, whether it be elementary or college, and they should be safe there. That should be like one of the safest places to be.
To Chicago, where the teachers union is encouraging a May Day 2026 activation tomorrow from 9 a.m. to noon. Workers over billionaires, students over billionaires, taking our learning outside the classroom into our communities. Emily, how do you assess this one?
America's education system has absolutely failed our students by prioritizing politics over proficiency. Our students don't know the Constitution. They don't know the three branches of government. But yeah, let's bust them out to an anti-Trump rally. What's the logic there? Our nation's report card revealed that only 20% of eighth graders are proficient in civics. And this isn't just a K through 12 issue. This also extends to the higher education system, too, where we've seen academic ability decline steadily over the years. Standards have been lowered, especially since after COVID with that boom of online learning. And another thing I reported, I actually exposed a California community college professor for sending out an email to students encouraging them to attend anti-ICE rallies and to disrupt ICE enforcement. So this is an issue that's also present within our higher education system, both K through 12 and the higher ed system. Our professors, our teachers need to get back in the business of teaching instead of pushing political activism.
All right, from Jackson Potter, Vice President of the Chicago Teachers Union, quote, teaching our students what civic action looks like requires more than textbooks. When the president sends federal agents to occupy our cities and the governor chooses to continue giving tax breaks, to billionaires instead of giving our students the school day they deserve. Alexandra, what's your take on this one?
Oh, my gosh. Unfortunately, they look at students as their foot soldiers. And this is exactly, they're just being used. They don't really care about the students. I actually find it comical that they would say that that's the school day that they deserve. They have absolutely no idea what kind of school day these kids deserve. We haven't had a good curriculum in quite some time. As Emily mentioned, the scores are so low. They're mind-blowing. If you look at the NAEP scores, I had to look at them a few times. I honestly just could not believe that these are the scores that I was looking at. So, I agree.
Back with the Nightcap crew, Tiffany Marie Brannon, Alexandra Bauer, Emily Sturge, Christina Pascucci, and Amber Duke. FIFA says the Iran soccer team will play in the United States during the upcoming World Cup with the Trump administration's blessing and some restrictions. Do you agree with that decision? All right, Emily, bring us home.
Let them play ball, but national security should, of course, be our top concern, so we should properly vet anyone coming to this country.